Okay, so today I want us to look at this particular question. It's going to be a very nice question, discussion question. I hope you are able to see now my screen. It's called Ventures. It's called Ventures. It's November 2015. November 2015. Leadership and Management. Question number 1. We want to do like say 7. I normally do like seven case studies. After that, you guys will be able to answer so many questions. It doesn't matter which question they bring. You'll be having so many answers here to put down. So then if you're able to see my screen, I'm now reading here very fast. I'm now reading here very fast. I'm now reading here very fast. I hope they're able to see. They're not even mentioning whether they're able to see my screen. Are they able to see my screen really? Are they able to see the case question? Of course, if they're not able to see, they'll be able to talk. They'll be able to talk. Yes, thank you so much. So we are told here, ladies and gentlemen, Classic Ventures Limited, CVL. Classic Venture Limited, CVL, is a company which deals in office furniture. In 07, CVL began a journey with a long-term vision of increasing its revenue by 50% over a period of 10 years. Before officially launching its vision, CVL had formulated a strategic plan to serve as the roadmap for the achievement of its goals. During formulation of the strategic plan, CVL analyzed both internal and external environment factors affecting the company and also evaluated its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. After 8 years of operation, CVL is at approximately 70% of achieving its 10-year goal. Quite nice. According to the management, CVL's success could be attributed to the well-structured board of directors, clear organizational structure, embracing good corporate governance practices through fair dealing with all stakeholders, and a system of widespread accountability and transparency. Great strengths I'm able to see there. The operating principles of CVL, which are to maximize shareholders' wealth, facilitate investment, promote customer satisfaction, reduce staff turnover, and corporate social responsibility, are fully observed. The latest corporate governance report of CVL, as contained in its annual report, shows the details of the planning and the control systems applied within the company and the various committees of the board, namely Audit Committee, Remunerations Committee, Nomination Committee, and Risk Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing as good as having a board that, well, within it, we have in this case here what we call committees. Committees, of course, in this case, are being led by various experts within the board. So that these committees can be meeting often. They produce, in this case here, board papers that will be presented, for example, to the board. It really quickens the process of decision making, as opposed to having just a board of, say, 14 people who will be meeting just once, like every 3 months. And then, of course, there will be nothing really, nothing will be happening. Things should be happening, remember. Whenever we have committees, then that is a very, very big strength, especially according to governance charter. There are committees that should never miss. Audit committee is a serious thing. Every organization needs an audit committee. We need a remuneration committee. Otherwise, everybody will start giving themselves, in this case here, unsustainable salaries. Nomination committee, otherwise we'll start employing our wives, we'll start employing our spouses and children to the company. Their qualifications notwithstanding. Risk committee also is very, very important. The performance of CVL is reviewed by the various committees of the board. You can see in this case here, we are able to evaluate the performance of the entity. A big strength there. So the performance of CVL is reviewed by the various committees of the board and then presented to the board of directors for further review and consideration. Management sets targets, and these are then monitored via the balance scorecard. The executive director's remuneration is linked to performance. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, the way corporate governance tells us that you should never be giving your executive directors just a blanket salary, a blanket remuneration. No, some bit of it, in this case, should be pegged on, ladies and gentlemen, the profit they're generating. And you should not feel bad. Like now, last year, the CEO of Cooperative Bank earned a bonus of 200 million last year. All right, is that bad? It can't be bad because he was able to drive, ladies and gentlemen, the performance of the bank to some unprecedented profitability. So I have these directors, some component of these directors could be, for example, remuneration that is pegged on how the company is performing. If the company hits these targets in terms of profitability, we give you bonus in terms of Kenya shillings. We give you bonus, for example, in terms of shares. We have got options. It's very important for us to ensure that especially the executive director's remuneration is linked to performance. The management has in place a profit sharing scheme for staff in an effort to motivate staff towards achieving the organizational goals. The strategic planning system is based on the principles underlying balanced scorecard. This approach, according to CVL, head of finance, allows the business to operate with the intention of meeting the needs of all stakeholders. CVL also has a clear policy dealing with the investment in staff training and in effective recruitment, which ensures that there is a low staff turnover. Quite a big strength. In addition, CVL has put in place a successful ethics program whose success indicators comprise consistency between words and actions, openness, just rewards, and value-driven programs. Value-driven programs. There is a customer service software that ensures customers' concerns that are not addressed by CVL officers within 24 hours are brought to the attention of their superiors. So they have this system we call customer relationship manager, CRM. This enhances operations and helps to meet the customer's needs. Due to the increase in demand for office furniture, CVL is considering alternatives for expanding its operations. A proposal by one of the executive directors is to purchase a franchise from a foreign company which had expressed interest in trading with CVL. The chief executive officer is in agreement with this strategic option and plans to incorporate the proposal on the agenda for the next board meeting. So they want us to propose 4 external environmental factors that could have been considered by the management of Classic Ventures Limited while formulating its strategic plan. What do you think in this case here are the key external environmental factors that could have been considered by the management of Classic Ventures Limited, external, coming from outside there? Coming from outside there. Coming from outside there. Can I get, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, your contributions regarding this? Your contributions regarding this? Is it possible for me to get your contributions regarding this? I mean, when you're coming up with your strategic plan, what do you think in this case, ladies and gentlemen, are the key external factors that you will really have to consider, Is there anybody who knows those points? Is there anybody who knows those points? Anybody who knows those points? Yeah, I can see them. They are coming very fast. I can see them. They are coming very fast. I can see they are coming very fast. Political consumer behavior, political. So political factors, firms policy be in line with the political parties at the time, or the government of the day, legal, political. So basically they're talking pastel. I love that. But ladies and gentlemen, trust you me, not many of you will be able to get, in this case here, all the marks here, because you will not be able to relate whatever you guys are telling me to what here, to the case. And how you relate this to the case, I showed you yesterday. It's all about mentioning CVL somewhere. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, I like the students who have told me that they must have considered economic factors. There is no way you will tell us that you will grow your profitability by more than 50% in 10 years without looking at the economy. The economic conditions, things like inflation rate, all right? Things in this case here, of course, inflation rate will be affecting the customer's purchasing power, all right? Customer's purchasing power. All right. Rates of interest. Will you be able to get loans that are affordable that you can use to finance the growth? All right. All right. All right. So economic factors, gentlemen, you're looking at so many factors here. Even the price of labor. The price of labor. So there are many, many factors that you have to look at. The other environmental factor that I expect to see you guys, in this case you're mentioning, is competition. You are not alone in this game. There are competitors who are also offering the same type of water products to the market. How aggressive are they? How does the competition environment, in this case, a landscape, look like? All right. So I'll have to look at competition. Competition is an external environmental factor. So CVL will have to look around. I mean, what are the barriers to entry, for example? What are the barriers to entry? All right. You may say in this case that you're the very best, for example, right now, in terms of what year this furniture products. But who told you that we can't get a farm from, for example, China setting base here in Kenya, and then they overthrow you, they dethrone you. So competition is something that I will be able to remember very fast. From your pastel thing, if you're borrowing pastel as the model here, really, I'll look at technological advancements. Changes in technology can influence product designs, customer preferences, etc. And we have discussed this so far. So the management should be able to invest in research and development heavily so that they can be able to project even in these 10 years to come. These 10 years we are talking about here in our strategic plan. I mean, what are some of the technological advancements do we expect in the furniture industry? Like the other day, I was seeing in this case here something on, was it TikTok? Yes, where somebody just buys a sofa set, nice sofa set. This sofa set, this guy during the day, he can use it as a sofa set. At night, this guy can use it as a bed. I mean, he can change it to many things, including some wardrobe, wardrobes like that. All right. So we need to consider technological advancements. Otherwise, we shall say that we would want to grow by 50%, and then we end up even actually doing what here, going down. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to look at what here, legal environments here. I have to look at legal environment. Remember, we want to grow, get outside there. We would want, in this case, here to franchise. All right. So in this case, it will be very important for us to consider the legal environment. Laws and regulations related to manufacturing, trade, environmental sustainability. All right. Like now we have the current government going quite nice in terms of what here, in terms of, for example, like, I mean, they're not really very keen with environmental degradation. So if they come and pronounce themselves on that kind of a regulation, I mean, look at, for example, this furniture business. I mean, we're going to have a lot of competition coming up. And I can see you guys are giving me very many points, and I hope you guys are also able to jot down my points as I pick them. So political factors, I love that, of course, that with a lot of explanation, I'll be able to give you marks there. Great. Yes, social-cultural is still very good. Very good. Very good. It will have an impact, ladies and gentlemen. Social-cultural will have an impact. Like now, the youth that we are having at the moment, most of these guys may not even want furniture in their houses in the future. All right. Like now, let me tell you the truth. There is no way that you can convince me, like our fathers here used to have like 3 sofa sets in the house. Those things are unnecessary. Nowadays, people are walking light. With these demographics changing, you expect in this case here, this timber business, for example, to even go down. Simplicity is knocking on the walls, on the doors. All right. People are coming up with very, very unique ways of doing things. Great. Okay, great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me When somebody asks about a question number there, please always ensure that you help Mwalimu to answer some of the questions there. And ensure that you help Mwalimu to answer some of the questions there. So the next question they asked us, ladies and gentlemen, is citing 4 reasons justify why the board of CVL should support the franchising option. Why would you want to be associated, for example, with KFC International? You know, when you start, in this case, you're using KFC International here home, automatically will be opening doors to who? To more consumers, because people believe in that brand automatically. So can somebody give me some of these reasons? Why do you think? Of course, it has got its own unique challenges, because once you take a franchise of an international company, they'll tell you then from today, you shall not be using RCM anymore because you'll be competing with us. Grab that name, put our name there. So there is also a disadvantage that you may lose your own identity. In the long term, remember, these franchises, they are not permanent. They are periodical. At times, in this case, those contracts, in this case, you get into headwinds. But we are being told here to justify why the board of CVL should support the franchising option. The franchising option. What are the key benefits of franchising? Let me read your answers here very fast. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the franchisor will be able to support a lot of, for example, activities for you. These guys will be able to do training for your staff. A lot of support, really. Those branding materials, like KFC, because those guys would want, in this case, a standardized way. So you're not going to start like this business here from scratch, all right? Enjoying the existing brand. I love this, 𝐒𝐲𝐞𝐜𝐤𝐚𝐥. If you had put your full name here, 𝐒𝐲𝐞𝐜𝐤𝐚𝐥, I would have bought you, in this case, your lunch. Increased sales because of that brand visibility. I mean, this is Java. This is Java, for example. It's a big brand. It's known. You'll be able to get, like, for example, the international clientele. In this case, you're buying into these products because of the brand it's associated with. All right. I can see so many messages here. Brand name, easier penetration to the market, increased market base, economies of scale. There is minimal cost in advertising. This HB person also deserves good lunch, but he doesn't want us to know the name. There is a minimal cost in advertising since the franchisor is already established. Marketing and branding, brand recognition, CVL will benefit from already developed relationships from suppliers. With the suppliers, I like these. Most franchisors will already be having, in this case here, for example, distribution networks, supply chain networks. So in this case here, there are quite a lot of advantages of having even if they don't have them in this particular market, they already have information because they do a lot of water research. They do a lot of research. Reduced risk of failure. I love that. Faster startup processes. I also love that. Of course, I can see somebody laughing there. Yeah. When you franchise, because of the cost, you know, it's not everybody, ladies and gentlemen, who will be able to afford what? Yeah, a franchise. If you afford a franchise, like today, if you wanted to take up a KFC franchise, you have to part with 5 million. So when you part up with 5 million, I mean, everything will be ready. Otherwise, you will lose out. Having invested 5 million, I would want my capital, my returns to the capital that I've injected. So in this case, there is a concept of a faster startup process. I love that. Improved quality of products or services, because of course we have the bigger brother who is watching. Banks are more likely to lend money due to good reputation. Due to good reputation. You guys are geniuses, you guys. You guys are geniuses. I'm telling you, after your exams, you should be able to come over here, and then I should be able to sponsor something, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, remember, should these guys here come up with a franchise model, then they are getting an opportunity of even getting into regions. doing what we call regional expansion. So market expansion is also important to me. Franchising will allow CVL to rapidly expand its presence in new markets with the help of local. You will easily in this case here grow because you can buy those licenses and represent the main company in Uganda, in Ethiopia, etc. We have the concept of brand recognition. You guys are nice. You guys are nice. And I think you've mentioned really all of those points here. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we go to part C of this question. So part C of this question was a crazily easy question. They asked us to describe 4 features of a good governance system adopted by CVL. Good governance system adopted by CVL. Now listen and listen to me very well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would want, in this case here, to have a good governance system, 2 organs. We need, in this case here, a board of directors, which is led by a chairman. And then we need a secretariat here, down here, which is in charge of the day-to-day running of the business, led by the CEO. The chairman and the CEO of the board should never be the same person. The chairman should be independent, and then the CEO as well should be independent. And remember the chairman. The chairman should never have an office in the company. It is only in Africa because, Africa, we have got everything upside down. I've never seen, in this case here, Africa having many, apart from our weather and maybe nice people. Otherwise, in terms of management, in terms of everything, our priorities are upside down. Right? You'll get, for example, like the chairman of IBC is the one who goes to address the media. Good companies that understand, or institutions that understand corporate governance, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about the CEO, who is the spokesman, is the one who has an office, is the one who is overseeing operations of a company day to day. The chairman should only be charged with the responsibility of running the board effectively. After he has been able to chair a board, then his responsibility ends there, because he's not even the one who takes up minutes, should be a secretary. Once the secretary, in this case here, takes up minutes, then of course, in this case here, for execution purposes, the chairman should be able to hand over this information to who? To the CEO for implementation. And remember also, the CEO sits in this board, sits in the board. So he's able to get instructions from the board like that. But right now you'll get, like in Kenya here, it's quite a bad system. If you look at, for example, Safaricom today. Safaricom, I'm so sure all of us, we know the CEO. Not many of us happens to be knowing who? The chairman. Because the chairman is supposed to be at the back, leading most of the things, but in this case, at the back, leading the board, because board is the decision-making organ up there. All right? So that is number 1, that we need separation of powers between the chairman and the CEO. Please, I know most of you will be starting your own business as soon. When you start your business, and then you are calling yourself Andrew Nyundo, chairman and the CEO, when we meet, don't even give me your business card. Don't give me your business card. I will not have a place to put it. I'll just throw it away, because I know these are persons who don't understand corporate governance. The chairman should be different, and the CEO should be should be different. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, remember that we need a lot of what here. We need a lot of, now, the board has to be vibrant. This thing of dividing the board into committees, especially critical committees, then that is very good. That shows that the board is really doing what here. The board is effective. The board is effective. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want you to listen and listen to me very well. The things that will be able to make me realize that this is a serious organization that observes corporate governance tenets. Number 1, we have what we call performance and accountability. Performance review and accountability. That's very important. That the board has set its own targets. And it's able, in this case, here to monitor what here, the performance, the outcomes, using a balanced scorecard approach. Ladies and gentlemen, we have number 2. I hope you are able to take these notes very fast. Performance review. This tells me that straight away, things are working here. Things are happening here. Great. Great. If you're working for a company, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. If you're working for a company that does not even want to give you what we call like a custody leave, even if it's 1 week, chances are this is a company which is being run by a board that does not even have targets in the first place, that is not accountable at all. Otherwise, if it was accountable, giving you 2-3 days, to go and study, after all, they should be able to know that it's to their own advantage that you are going to sit for these exams and pass. It is a company that will benefit. So it's number one, performance review and accountability. Number two, that we have governance committees. We have governance committees that CVL has established critical committees has established critical committees like the audit. I'll be able to mention there. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that tells me that this company is good in terms of corporate governance, it has a board. It has a board which seems to be very well structured. It has got a board, but the fact that it has got a head, remember, board is the head, then that tells me that there is good corporate governance, in this case here being, or rather taking place here. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that is able to tell me that there is good governance here, remember, good governance should be able to cascade to all stakeholders. The benefit should be able to cascade, should be able to go to all stakeholders. And that is why, if you read this question very well, we have got high stakeholder engagement, high stakeholder OTR engagement, high stakeholder engagement, high stakeholder engagement. Mary Ann says that our chairman has an office and a secretary in the building. That is very bad. That is interference with the existing operations of the CEO and the COO, Chief Operations Officer. Please advise them accordingly, Mary Ann. Great. Look at what HB is telling us. He'll be able to buy this reward-based performance involving decision-making. Has an idea that this company, of course, is being run very well. Reporting processes, thank you very much. I think that's good enough. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me, in the interest of time, I have less than 15 minutes here. They want me to explain 4 perspectives of the balanced scorecard, which were used by Civil in achieving its goals. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, a balanced scorecard looks at the operations of an entity from how many perspectives? 4. It's called BSC, Balanced Scorecard, BSC. It has, or rather evaluates, it's an instrument which evaluates the performance of an entity from 4 perspectives. Namely, the first one is the financial perspective. Number 2, we have the customer perspective. Number 3, we have the processes or internal processes perspective. Number 4, we have what we call learning and OTR innovation, or learning and growth. Learning and growth. So financial, customer, internal businesses. Number 3, learning and OTR growth. Number 4, I'll start with customer perspective. So customer perspective, 4 things. A good company that is strong in terms of the customer perspective is always on the drive of acquiring new customers every day. Like RCM, we don't sleep here. Every time we are thinking like, how do we make the next coin? How do we get, in this case here, customers? So we have got customer acquisition is key. So you have to ask yourself, is CVL really on an overdrive to acquire new customers? You as a CEO, because I'm so sure very soon, most of us here will become chief executive officers. Amongst the things that you should never delegate is the customer's perspective. Every time you must get, in this case here, the register of new customers. If you're not seeing new customers walking into the company, regardless of how big you are, then automatically that's a silo. You have, in this case here, enclosed yourself here with your whatever number of customers. Once this silo starts breaking out and these guys are going to competitors, then you will not be able to survive. A good company should be having an input every day. Even if there's an output, there should be an input. And of course, this output, you don't want, in this case, these customers to go away after acquiring them. Number two, ensure that they are what? Yeah, satisfied. They're satisfied. So customer satisfaction. So in this case, you must hear a place where they are telling you that CVL, for example, is going to customers, trying to get feedback from customers regarding who? Regarding the operations. Very, very important. Then we have what we call customer loyalty. And the customer loyalty, like these international firms, they are very good. They have what we call, like now, for example, the loyalty points, where they tether you. I remember like when Nakumat used to be Nakumat. When Nakumat used to be Nakumat, those days when they used to tell us that if you need it, you've got it. If you need it, you've got it. Nowadays, where are they? Mwalimu Hesabu, where is Nakumat? If I go to any Nakumat branch today and ask for whatever, I mean, I think there are only two branches left in the whole country. If I go there, I'm so sure all the shelves, whatever I'll be getting there is just dust, 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 dust. If you need it, we've got nothing absolutely. So during those days when it used to be huge, these guys in this case here used to have a very good loyalty program. We could move all over from whichever town because you used to have that card, which was very, very effective, right? So in this case, they used to put bonga points inside there. So at the end of the day, during Christmas festivities, we were redeeming those bonga points, those points. So especially these big firms that have understood this concept of loyalty. Loyalty is all about you not making an assumption. Trust you me. Like it will be very wrong of us, ladies and gentlemen, to assume that once you guys pass, that it's a must for you to come back to study with us next semester, BDA and whatever. No. We simply need a program where we shall be able to reward loyalty. For example, we should say that if you have been with us from ATD1, if you've been with us from CPA1, then when you come to the last level, students don't pay fees at all. They don't pay fees at all to study with us. What do you think of that loyalty program? Can it work? Can it, in this case here, incentivize some of you? So like what Safaricom is doing, they have great bonga points. By the way, even ourselves, if we look at our website, now from next semester, you'll be able to pay your fees through your bonga points, using your bonga points. We have already embedded something there. So loyalty is all about tethering. Putting, in this case here, some kind of a rope on the neck of a student so that whenever they hear of CPA, regardless of where they are, for their children, for their parents, etc., they always think about RCM Online College. If I do that, if I manage to do that, then in terms of loyalty, I'll be really be said to be doing very well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we said 4. Number 1, acquisition, ensure that they're satisfied. Number 3, ensure in this case that they are loyal. Loyal anakaa na wewe, hajui mambo ingine. Kama ni spouse wako akiwa loyal ni wewe tu, hajui mpango ya kando. Hiyo ndio loyalty tunasema. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the last one, which is awareness. And this is where people go wrong. This is why most of businesses in Africa cannot, in this case here, get outside there. At least we as RCM, we are in Southern Sudan. We are getting some good revenues, like 6% of our revenues. In this case here now are coming from Uganda here, right? Actually, we really want to set up like regional offices. So awareness is all about publicizing yourself. Whenever you've got success stories, get outside there, in this case here, and do what you tell the whole world. Hii kitu ya kusema kwamba chema cha jiuza, kibaya cha jitembeza, ni kitu kibaya hiyo zaidi. Hata sijui na Mswahili mgani alikuja kitu kama hiyo. Hata kama ni kizuri namna gani, lazima utoke nje utembeze, ndio watu waweze kuona. So awareness, publicity. All these big firms like EABL, those guys are so big in terms of publicizing what they do. And they really know their clientele. They know their clientele. They know that they're not targeting the Lesamtas here. They're not targeting their Mayos here. They are targeting people who are in Form 3. People who are basically, even if they keep on cheating, people in this case here who are in, just finishing high school. That's why they keep on using slogans that, for example, if you need a lot of energy, if you need what we call micropower, drink Guinness. You see, you and I know that there is nothing like micropower. But a young person who is coming from school, who is very, very tiny, and they would want some kind of they'll try. And once they try the kind of alcohol, nowadays, this guy is here, brew, is not alcohol. Once they try once, twice, like they're hooked. They'll never leave that particular venture. That if you want to stand tall, someone like me who is 5'7", honestly, what can make me, perhaps if I can get like high-heeled shoes of one of the ladies here, but telling me to drink Tusker, it doesn't make sense. But somebody who is coming, somebody who is a little bit stupid, coming in this case here from high school, and they're being told, hey, stand tall by taking Tusker. Ama nguruma na mfalme. So they are very good in publicizing whatever that they do. But some of us who are on this other side of the coin, who don't drink, who don't do whatever, ladies and gentlemen, again, you realize that we are not very good in advertising what we do. So that is it. I'm through with the customer. You'll be able to tell me whether those points you're able to see them in CVL. Then I go to the internal business processes. And the internal business processes, we are looking at automation. You should be able to automate your processes. So the question is CVL automating its processes? Are they using, like, for example, do we have some students who are still using QuickBooks here at their workplace? How do you use QuickBooks in this 21st century at your workplace? It should be an ERP system, where in this case here, systems, for example, are connected here to speak to each other. So for example, we have what we call finance and costing module. We have a manufacturing module. We have a CRM module. All of them, in this case, like the SAP, put in together. That's how you run a business efficiently. So automated production systems, etc., etc., etc. Everything should be scientific. That is what, in this case here, the internal business processes, ladies and gentlemen, talk about. And remember, under the internal business processes, for these processes to work, the leadership within the organization must be really on top of the game. You must be able to adopt management practices that are contemporary, that are modern. So for example, there is no way you can tell me that you are a CEO who basically does what here, you are a CEO, who basically does what here, who sits on the chair, comfy chair, just swinging around, issuing their commands and epithets, left, right, and center, and you're not working, ladies and gentlemen. That can never work. Nowadays, you must use, for example, systems like 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴. 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴 is management by walking around. You must use, in this case here, systems like, for example, the FIOL, 14 Principles of Management. That you see, I know you guys know those things, isn't it? You must use, for example, the Gilbert's model of managing an organization, that everybody in the company must be a doer. Everybody must be studying. Everybody must be a learner. Everybody must be a trainee. But if you're in that organization, ladies and gentlemen, your work is to swing left, right, and center, as if in this case here, you are a pig that is being fattened for. No, all of us must work. Then we go, ladies and gentlemen, to the last one, which is learning and innovation. So like in this question here, you saw CVL. CVL, ladies and gentlemen, was able to do what he was able to take their employees to trainings, etc. There is learning taking place. There are things taking place here. Innovation is all about coming up with new products. If you look at companies like breweries, I'm telling you, breweries, those guys are doing wonderful things. The research and development department, top notch. Like I remember in the year 2011, they engaged a firm that I used to work for to do what we call agronomics for them, ERGON, agronomics. So under agronometry, we simply study and get to know why, or rather how, we can tailor our products here to fit some specific disadvantaged group, needs of disadvantaged group. So for example, as a RCM college, if we were to come up with a course that the blind can use, they study using our course content, and then they become good accountants, then of course, in this case here, the whole republic or even the whole world will be able to say, hey, that company, we can work with that company. It's like just going environmental, green, that company has gone green, let's buy from them. So like now, breweries wanted to know how comes very many ladies were not consuming their brands. During those days in 2011, wasichana wengi hawakuwa wanakunywa brands za breweries. So tukapeleka questionnaire nje. Tulipeleka questionnaire nje, tulipata msichana, tumuuliza mbona ukunywi brewery. Anasema sikunywi brewery because brewery is very bitter. That is why since 2011, they started making, in this case here, like the Snap. I'm told they are very sweet, but please don't try those things at home. Alcohol kills families. Alcohol will make us, in this case here, poor decision makers, in terms of what here our final. I'm just trying to use these examples here to show you how innovation is done. So in this case, you come up with new products every often. You come up with new products every often. Like now they have the snap. They also complained about the bottle sizes. They said that the bottle sizes in this case here were quite masculine. They were big. You know, around 2010 wamama hawakuwa wameharibika sana. Lakini siku hizi wamama wa siku hizi ni mikora. Siku hizi unapata mama wa siku hizi anakunywa Guinness. Anaangusha yote, hata kama ni gani kali, hata hawezi changanya na kitu yoyote. Sasa siku hizi, and again, when we did this economics, we said that it's ladies who they came up with that snap. When we did, in this case here, post-implementation survey, we realized that there were more men taking this snap than women. That's now the change in dynamics. So in the companies that you guys are working for, how would you rate yourselves in terms of innovation? Are you able to come up with the new products often? Are you able to come up with the new products often? Are you able to come up with the new products often? So, ladies and gentlemen, financial perspective, this perspective, of course, focuses on financial outcomes. And the CVL, ladies and gentlemen, has been able to put quite a huge target there of 50% growth rate. Customer perspective, of course, you can see CVL is prioritizing customer satisfaction. Internal processes, CVL emphasis on clear company structure, corporate governance, all that adds up to internal business processes here. Internal business processes because of the internal controls, management, and then automation. Learning and growth, CVL commitment to staff training, recruitment, ethics programs, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to take this 1 minute to show you something very nice here. Great. So we have the pivot, not pivot, but we look up. Great. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we have in this case here anybody in the house here who likes what now? Who likes football? Do we have anybody who loves football? 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 So if you love football, this is what I would want to show you here today. I remember one time back, I went to uniform distributors when I was quite young. That's quite an old shop. And I went there for an interview. So those guys gave me big data. They gave me, they have uniform, different sizes, shoes, etc. So they wanted me to look for a particular item from this big workbook. So assuming this is quite a big workbook, a big worksheet, with say 15,000 rows, with 15,000 different teams. Like now here, if somebody comes and asks you, hey, I want in this case here Lazio, you'll be able to pick Lazio here. And I hope you guys are able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Thank you so much. So in this case here, for example, Lazio, I'll be able to come and pick here. But what if these teams were so many of them? So given that this is a column thing, it's a vertical thing, I will come, ladies and gentlemen, here and use what we call the VLOOKUP. So I'll come and say VLOOKUP. It is there, it's blue label. When it's blue label like that, I need to come and tab. So in a tab, it's asking me, hey, what are you looking up for? I'm looking up for Lazio. So when I'm looking up for Lazio, this Lazio is column H. Column H is a title column. So I need to come here and in this case here, fix this H. So I need to come and say here, shift $, all right? And then I come here and say comma. So after that, they want me to give them the table array. It is this entire table. So I'll come and put this shift control, right arrow, down arrow. Remember, table array must always be fully referenced. So I press F4 like that. You can see those dollars like that. And then I'll come and say comma. The next thing, they want me to give them the column index. Now, because I want column indices here, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way, I'll come and put a curly bracket. So I'm looking for the curly bracket. curly bracket, and then I want from country. So this is number 2. I say comma, I say 3, I say comma, I say 4, I say comma, I say 5. So I'm entering in this case here, this column 2, 3, 4, and 5 like that. And then I close this using the curly bracket like that. And then I say comma. When I say comma, what do they want? True or exact match. Of course, in accounting, we always go for exact matches. There is nothing like so in this particular case, ladies and gentlemen, I need to come and say 0 there, because I don't want approximations. And then I'll be able to do what here? To close brackets, no more bracket. And then I say enter. So you can see it is telling me that 𝐒𝐻𝐼𝐴 is an Italian company. You can see it has already given me information. And if I come, ladies and gentlemen, here, and for example, drop this thing down, it's able to give me like Borussia for the other. So I've automated my Excel. So basically, I can use this VLOOKUP to do a lot of modeling. I do modeling at my workplace. So if I come and say, for example, I know we have some guys here who love Arsenal. If I write Arsenal there and say enter, now you can see now it's giving me everything automatically. This is what I shall be teaching you guys after your exams. After your exams. I'm so sure right now you've not seen anything, right? I'm so sure right now you've not seen anything, but at least, is there anybody who has been able to pick anything from whatever I've done? They haven't seen anything, but we shall overcome. So from the 24th, I'll be teaching you, ladies and gentlemen, this Excel. I'll be teaching you 3 things. Advanced Excel. We have the famous macros, actually 4 of them. Famous macros. We have the famous Power BI and then Power Query. And we are charging all that 2,500 Kenya shillings. 2,500 Kenya shillings. Once you pay us that 2,500 Kenya shillings, we'll be able to take you through that. And then most importantly, you need, or rather you'll be able to access this class that I'm teaching for free. Sijaziona kwa timetable, ziko Advanced Excel. We have in this case Advanced Excel, Power BI, macros, and Power Query. It will be a 10-day program, intensive program. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, this world for accountants is changing very fast. If you're not good with automation, if you're not very good in terms of financial modeling, trust me, you will not go far. Na usikuja kuniambia baadaye mwalimu mbona sikujui kitu na hapa ni wapi. Usikuja kuniambia kitu, but me I'm advising you, because like some of us, we are able to work with international firms simply because of what you're like in Excel. I'm very sure there are very few people who can beat me in Excel in Kenya. Because even the deltas, like when Excel, they're coming up with new things, I'm able to know very fast and advise my team, because we are big in Excel. We are big in Excel. Ndio kiambia mtu namfunza Excel, anafikiria ni Excel ya kawaida. Hata sahi, for example, if you're keen, like the way I'm doing my VLOOKUP is not the way most people do VLOOKUP. Purity wants Advanced Excel, QuickBooks, Sage, and iTax. You see, like now, Barke is saying you had to do an Advanced Excel interview for an American company. Even me at first, before I got to know about this Excel at Uniform Distributors, I failed miserably. But since then, I made a commitment that I'll have to know Excel 100%. I would want us to start from the 24th or 25th. We'll have to agree. We'll have to agree, because I don't want it to spill over when we are beginning. So our pay bill, because I want you guys to pay today. Our pay bill is 62,42,839. 62,42,839. Account number is your name. 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 Once in this case here you pay, please ensure that you send this message to us, 0719 525,000. And then most importantly, like now today evening, we have classes and a low-hanging fruits. Once you pay, you'll be able to attend those classes now for free, because you're paying for the Excel, but we give you this as a benefit. Yeah, QuickBooks and Sage, we have them. Now we need to come up with a combo for our students. We need to come up with a combo for our students and say, instead of paying all this, just pay us something small, and then you benefit like that. The videos will be provided, yes. The videos will be provided. The video